A very warm welcome in the discussion of numerical methods. Already in the first lecture, we have introduced what is numerical methods, what are the application of numerical methods, and more importantly, why numerical method is required in our engineering education. So, in this regard, we have a particular idea. Now, the most important part of numerical methods which we have to keep it in our mind when we are going to use it for our problems, that is, as we are not using any classical method, we are doing some approximations, and due to this approximation one thing is generated, that is error. So in this lecture we are going to restrict ourselves in the discussion of approximations and errors in numerical methods. This is going to be a completely conceptual part, and this conceptual discussion will help us a lot when we are going to apply the coming methods for different problems in different aspects, that what method we are going to select, because the approximation and the error associated with this method, whether they are going to be allowed or not. So let us have some sequential discussion on this particular topic. We have already discussed this example that we need to know something and we are happy to know some information about that desired thing up to some extension, up to some level. So suppose if someone wants to know that what is the weight of a particular mango, so we know that we have some idea that in general the mango is having the weight, if it is a full grown one on a particular type like Himsagar, then it is going to be near about 250 gram to 350 gram. So look at this, you have a mango, you are approximating the weight of that mango is suppose 300 gram, and after that you are weighing that mango and you got it that its weight is suppose 300 gram, it is exact. So this difference is going to be called as error. Now look at this, if this much error I have done, I think some people will allow this error because this approximation is done on some logical senses. Yes, you don't have any calculator, you are not using any weighing machine, but your experience is actually indicating that you can approximate the weight of that particular mango as near about 300 gram. So this logical approximation gives you some error which can be allowed, though it is having an error. But please try to understand, if I am approximating it as 3 kg of a single mango weight, it is also an approximation and we are not thinking anything related to that, and we are saying its weight is 3 kg. So obviously there is an error. If it is 310 gram, so we are having error of 2 kg greater than 2 kg. So look at this, this error is not at all going to be allowed in any aspect, because this approximation is not done by depending on any type of logical or experimental or with some experience kind of thing is associated with this. So in numerical methods, approximation plays a very vital role, but to be specific, not approximation, a logical approximation is important. So we are now having the terms which tells us that we are having the term called exact value, and we are having the term called approximate value. Approximation is done obviously with some logical senses. So this exact value and this approximation, if we are denoting it by, suppose there are so many type of notations, but in general, if we are denoting this exact value as, suppose, Vt, and the approximation or the calculated value as Va, we are calling the error as E, the difference between the exact value and the approximate value. Now, sometimes this exact value is greater than the approximate value, sometimes it may be less than. So E can be greater than 0 or less than 0. But we are interested in the magnitude of the error. That means how much error we have made. For that, we are interested in the term called absolute error. It is nothing but the modulus of E. That means it is mod of Vt minus Va. So next, the concept is coming in our mind that if I have absolute error as 10 out of 100, and if I am having the absolute error as 10 out of 1 lakh, suppose, in both the cases the absolute error is 10, but to be specific or be logical and think about it, that whether both of them are of same impact. You are taking 10 rupees error in 100 rupees and you are making 10 rupees error in 1 lakh rupees. So both are the having absolute error as 10 rupees, but they are not of same impact. So to consider this impact, we are generating the term called relative error. That means how much error you are making is important with respect to the exactness. So absolute error is nothing but denoted by ER, as we are taking the ratio of absolute error and actual value. So here we can denote it as absolute error as E by the actual value as Vt. So this is our total calculation for relative error. Okay. Now to express this thing in terms of a very known and very commonly used concept, so that people can understand it with their previous experience, we are converting it into another expression which is called percentage error. That means we are going to convert it in terms of percentage. So this is very simple. Percentage error is generally denoted as EP, and it is nothing but the relative error into 100. So these three are very important concepts related to the calculation of errors. So we are having these terms: exact value, approximate value, then absolute error, means error first, then absolute error, then relative error, and then percentage error. We are now going to show you one problem where you will able to identify that where these types of calculations are very important. So let us take a very simple calculation. Our problem is like that: if true value is equal to 10 by 3, approximate value is equal to 3.33, we have to find out the absolute and relative errors. Okay, so here my approximate value is 3.33 and true value is 10 by 3. So my absolute error will be suppose we are denoting it by EA, then it will be 10 by 3 minus 3.33. You have to take the mod of this one, but here 10 by 3 is greater than 3.33. So we can write it as and if I want to find out the relative error, we are going to denote it by ER. So obviously it will be EA by the true value, and it will be going to give you 1.1111111 into 10 to the power minus 4. Now I want to show you one more problem like this one. If capital X is equal to small x plus e, then prove that root over of capital X minus root over of small x is equal to e by 2 into root over x. So it is a very interesting problem, and we are going to use the technique by this. We are starting it from the left hand side. We are taking root over capital X by minus root over of small x, and we can write it as root over of capital X minus root over of small x. In place of small x, we can write capital X minus e. So in the next line, we can write it as root over of capital X minus the big root over, and then I am taking capital X common, so it will be 1 minus e by x. So where from I am getting this clue? I am getting this clue because in my calculation, in my final desired result, I need something e by x, e by root over x, and something like that. So in the next line I can write it as root over of capital X, then minus root over of capital X into 1 minus e by capital X to the power half. After that, we are going to use a minus x or whole to the power n or 1 minus x whole to the power n, the formulas related to that, and from this, and obviously we will discard it after a certain level. So we will get it as root over of capital X minus root over of capital X, extending and discarding the higher degree terms, we will get it 1 minus e by 2x. So next we will just do the simplification, minus minus plus e. If I get root over of capital X over here, so it will be converted to 2 root over capital X because it will be cancelled out. So finally we get the answer as e by 2 root over capital X, which is nothing but our right hand side. So look at this. These are the calculational point of view. I just want to mention that if I write capital X is equal to small x plus e, and if you assume e is your error and small x is your approximate value, then capital X is nothing but your true value, and you are finding out the difference of the root over between the true value and the approximate value, and it is going to be the error by 2 into root over of true value. So in this way, sometimes you have to concentrate for the implications of these types of calculations. Actually, by these calculations, what we are trying to find or what we are trying to understand. Next, we are now going to emphasize on another concept, and these concepts actually generalized as the term called sources of errors. It means that from where these errors are coming. So look at this. As according to the requirement, the classical method fails, we are trying to solve or trying to reach to our destination by numerical methods, means we are depending on some numbers. So in this context, we are allowing some calculations or some process or approaches for which our errors are coming. So first one of them is, suppose I am taking, called inherent error. Now if you just read this particular term, from this term it is clear that this error is actually inherited in the discussed problem. So suppose I am taking the average of some students in a class of first year. So student number 1, student number 2, student number 3, student number 4, student number 5, and I am taking the ages 18, 19, 20, 91 and 18. So if we take the average of this particular thing, the average what will be coming, obviously it will be a wrong one, or it will deviate according to the original average. Do you know why this situation will be coming? Are we making any mistake while calculating this average? Because I am going to add them and then divide it by 5, I will get the result, but the result is not going to be matching with the exact average of this one. Why? because I think now if you emphasize in the problem, you can see that there is one data I have taken from first year engineering class where some person's age is 91. Is it possible? It is not possible. But mathematically, if I add them, divide it by 5, I will get the average, and this average should be near about 18 to 19 years, but the average will be not looking at this. It will be near about 1, 2, 3, 4, almost 80 plus 90, 160, 170, 170 by 5. So it will be 3, and we are getting 36 near about. So it is absurd, because not in any error in my calculation process. It is coming for, I have made one error, it is inherited in the problem statement or in the calculated data or in the experimented data or the gathered data. So we are not compromising anything with the process. We are having this error because of this particular data. So this is the concept of inherent error. Next, we are moving for truncation error. This is very interesting concept. This truncation error is having the term called truncate. So what I am truncating? So I am giving you one example. E to the power x is 1 plus x square by factorial 2 plus x cube by factorial 3 plus dot dot dot, you know it. And suppose I want to find out 1 plus e square, this value. Look at this. If I want to be 100% exact, then what I have to do? I have to put x equal to 2 in this expression, but in my lifespan I will never be able to complete this calculation because it is an infinite series. So I will do the calculation 1 plus 2 square by factorial 2 plus dot 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 and so on. We will never reach to calculate e to the power 2. So I will never reach to calculate 1 plus e to the power 2. So for the preciseness, if I want 100%, I will not be able to reach to my destination. So here I am compromising and I am saying that I am going to truncate it from here. So look at this. If I truncate it from here, there will be some value. That value is not going to be considered in my final calculation. So what should be the value in the exact concept? I am not reaching at that destination. So this error is happening because of this truncation, but I have no other option. I have to reach to the destination, and if I can't reach to the destination with exactness, I can compromise with a little error, but I can proceed for my completion of the work. And for that I have allowed this truncation process, and that is why some error is made, and this is the concept of truncation error. Now if it is clear, we are now moving for another process that is called round off error. This term is known to you, is in your 11, 12 or the plus 2 level classes. You are also doing this. In case of round off, actually we are rounding off some numbers. What type of numbers? So obviously if we get some number, suppose 4.312567, if I want to use it up to suppose 2 decimal places, so I will go up to this and I will check what is this number. It is 2. 2 is less than 5, so the resulting number will be 4.31, because this 2 will not impact anything on this number 1, just staying before it. But if I want to express it, suppose up to 4 decimal places, in that case we have to go for this one, and I have to look at this particular number. This particular number is 6, and 6 is greater than 5. So my destination will be now 4.312, as 6 is greater than 5. So the previous number over here, that is 5, will be added with a number and it will be 4.3126. This is the concept of rounding off. I will make one open question to you, that if I want to represent my number up to 3 decimal places, then it will be 4.31. This is the position, this is 2, and the next number is 5. So 5 is not greater than 5, 5 is not less than 5, it is 5. So my open question to you is that if it is 5, then what will be the case for this one? Will it be added with 1, or will it remain same as it was, and will it depend on the characteristic of this number, that is if it is even and if it is odd? In my case it is even number, so if it depends on, it is a clue to you, if it is even, then will there be any addition, or if it is odd, will there be any addition? So please go through for the various resources what are available to us, and please try to find out the answer of these types of important questions. And before concluding this class, I just want to mention one more topic to you, and it is nothing but we are having this concept of significant digits, and that will be discussed in the next part of the discussion. So here I just want to mention these references. Please go through these references for more clear idea, and there are some assignments before which you have to go through the details discussions on errors and significant digits. Finally, I want to thank you all for your kind patience. Happy listening, happy learning.